Hello, Lisa here. Welcome to part 3 of my tarot deck collection. So hopefully I can finish this in this part. If not, this might be a 4-parter because I can't stop talking about my lovelies. So if you don't already have something to drink or like snack on, make sure you grab that because talking. Anyway, continuing right along, the next deck I'm going to show you is this beauty, the Pagan Otherworlds. I have to say that this is a really, really lovely deck that I'm super glad to have in my collection. I think that for a pip style deck, which is how I would describe this one, it really is a beautifully done style of pip in the sense that you can see yourself in each of the scenes. You can put yourself in them, which was, I believe, the deck creator's intention. It does come with some extra cards, a significator card, which you can always just put out on the table, or you can shuffle it in to see what surrounds you in a situation, and some moon phase cards, which are really lovely as well. Cardstock on this deck is just as lovely as people say. It's got a linen finish. It is a playing card style. It shuffles like a dream. The backs are beautiful. And it's got this very, again, kind of an aged feel to it. It's very earthy and grounded. It has a very fine art style to it that I think is just beautiful. You can tell these images were painted and not digitally created. At least that's what it looks like to me. I could be totally wrong, but if so, it's convinced me. I just think this is really, really classically beautiful, and it's something that I think I would have regretted not picking up if I had seen it and walked away from it. And I did find this at a local shop. Quite a treasure for me last year. I love having this. I enjoy working with it, and yeah, I think that it opens up the meanings with the option for numerology while still maintaining enough imagery to give you some Rider-Waite-Smith hints here and there so that you can stay on track if you're new to reading numerologically or you like having those hints. I think this still gives you just enough to sort of tease the memory or speak to the meanings you might be more familiar with. But it does still allow you to open it up a bit to more numerological meanings, which I really appreciate. The color palette is very similar throughout, which is probably the only thing that kind of makes this not one of my favorite decks ever in the entire world, because I love bright colors, but it's so beautiful you can't not appreciate it, or I can't anyway. So I love having this in my collection. I love even the inside of the box is like pretty. I did open my deck up from the bottom, so my seal is still intact up here. Yeah, love it. Next up is the Starchild. I have to say, I'm actually really looking forward to working with this again sometime this year, because now that I have the Moonchild, which I'll talk about a little bit later, this one just feels a little bit lacking in some way for me. And I think that's just because I'm so enamored with the Moonchild. I love the colors. Look at the backings. Oh, and this antique gold, nice sturdy box, of course. And yeah. This is definitely a pippish style deck, or it feels like it to me in many of the cards, but it is very otherworldly, very high vibe, really beautiful. I'm actually looking forward to reading with this again now that I have studied numerology and feel like I have a really solid numerological understanding of the cards, because cards like this used to really stump me, and I don't think they would now, at least not the same way. So it'll be interesting to see what I think after I work with it again this year. Somehow I have upside down cards again. Why? Why? Oh, I bumped. Sorry. Earthquake. Yeah. I don't have a ton to say because, again, I really feel like I need to work with this again, but I love the color palette. It is beautiful. I'm glad I have it. I do think I like the Moonchild just a bit better. Well, probably a lot better, because the Moonchild's probably one of my favorites, but I'm looking forward to digging back into this and seeing what I think now that I am from a different place in my tarot practice. So I'll be looking forward to this rotating back into my repertoire soon. The next deck I have here is the Shadowscapes Tarot. Oh, you guys, I messed up the edging on this one. It was one of my first edging jobs that I did, and I stacked up the cards too soon and then tried to touch them up like from the side with them clumped together, and that was a bad idea. Don't do that. Always edge your cards individually and let them dry fully. But I did edge it in this really pretty lavender color. I adore the artwork in this deck. My complaint, which is not unique to me at all, is that these cards are too small for this artwork. And dang it, I wish Llewellyn would reprint this in a larger and borderless version. And the second they do, I'm going to snap it up in a heartbeat, because holy cow, is this ever beautiful. My problem is that my eyes are not awesome, and especially as I get a little bit older, it's a little harder to pick out the fine details that I think really set this deck apart, but it is stunning, and no regrets about this one. The cardstock is a little on the thin side, so again, looking forward to hopefully a reprint by Llewellyn, but we shall see. It is beautiful. Love the backs. Gorgeous. Next up, my lovely, beloved Fountain Tarot. It's probably no secret that this is, again, one of my very top decks. It's very clean, very neutral. Some people describe this as airy, or ungrounded, or icy, or cold. I feel that this is neutral, clean. Again, a deck I could read easily for men or women. I think that there's a lot of stuff in here that creates a sense of relatability. It's got a bit of a modern feel without being in your face modern. I adore it. I really adore it. And all of these were done in oil as original paintings. And I have learned over the years that for tarot, if it's not art that's original to the deck, it doesn't, it just doesn't speak to me the same way. And this was all done with really great intention, and it shows. I just think, yeah, I love reading with this deck. It's an easy read for me. It does have a silver gilding. My copy is somewhat worn, so it's got a little bit of a bend in some places, but I feel like the cardstock is nice. That's what the backings look like. Yeah, it's a beautiful deck. The guidebook, I think, is fantastic. It does have one extra card called the Fountain that I read intuitively when and if it shows up for me. I have no problem with that, but yeah, fantastic. And I got this once it hit the mass market. And I'm so glad I picked it up. And if you don't have it and you're at all attracted to the artwork, it's very well worth it, I think. Next up, this is probably for sure going to be a four-parter. Next up is the Gil Tarot. This is a fantastic deck, and I think it would be really good for somebody who's new to tarot and not quite sure, because between the imagery, which is very clear, I think, and the numbers and the keywords, and the quartz, I just feel like you get a lot of really fantastic information. And I will say that I have not dug into the deeper layer of this deck, which is very much based on the Tree of Life, the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. I have not done any Kabbalah studies at this stage in my practice, but I love taking this deck at face value, just taking what it offers and reading it straight out of the bag exactly as it is. And it reads beautifully for me. I get lots of good messages from it. I just really, really enjoy it. I don't think I'm ever going to trim this one, but we shall see. We shall see. Next up, I'll do this one next because it's in such a cute little itty bitty bag. This is actually one of my Peggy bags. This is a new size she has called the Mini. And we developed it specifically. I helped her with sizing because I had a mini deck. I was like, hey, we need a deck bag that's this size for your Etsy shop. Anyways, this is the mini size bag for a mini deck. It's a low Scarabeo mini, so it is small. I'll pull out a Shadowscapes just to show you the comparison here for size. So there's a Shadowscapes card. And here is one of these. Like, it's much smaller. But this is just a cute, you know what, I got it for like 50 cents because I had a credit at the store that I do my local shopping at. These are the backs. I'm not overly resonant with the images. They are really cute, but they're teeny. And I don't feel like the scenes on the cards have anything to do with the meanings. It is basically a pip deck. And that's sometimes distracting for me. So I may rehome this at some point, but it's so teeny tiny and kind of adorable that I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. I don't think I appreciate it enough because the art is so small. But so I'm kind of on the fence, but it is the only deck I have that is this little. So there's that. Okay. Next up, put my Shadowscape. Actually, maybe I'll leave that handy just to, no, I don't think I have any other size comparisons to make. Okay. Next up is my Deviant Moon Borderless. These are the backs. This is a incredible deck with a very unique voice, a very unique art style. It reads really sassy. It has a ton to say. It's definitely darker and for sure creepier looking than anything I've ever been drawn to, but it kind of helps me balance things out when I need that tougher voice, when I need that more blunt approach with my own readings, either for other people or for myself. And the artwork is so skillfully and beautifully done. It's really hard not to appreciate, even if the actual aesthetics are not what I would normally gravitate to. Like, not a fan of bugs. I don't know why we're writing a bug, but it's still, when I pull these cards for readings, it has so much to say. So yes, I really adore this, and it made my top 5 for 2018 because it's so special. I still need to edge mine in black, which I will definitely be doing probably the next time I work with it. And speaking of darker decks, this is my Bohemian Gothic Tarot. Oh, it's so beautiful. This is an alternative lovers card in the bottom. At the time I'm filming this, Baba Studios, Alex and Karen are actually running low on these decks, so it is about to go out of print. This is the, I think, 3rd edition. The backs have almost of this metallic sheen looking to them. Really pretty. The fronts are borderless, and this artwork really is stunning, and this deck also has just a ton of personality. I would say if you are even remotely attracted to this darker, otherworldly vibe that this deck puts out, that you should scoop one up. I love this 3 of Swords. She looks like so like, I didn't mean to. I love the personality. I feel like it pulls me into a story, which I always love about decks when they can do that. It's got a really fresh take on some of these images. Some of them are a little harder to read than others, and I would not recommend this deck for beginners to tarot or anybody that's like still not really comfortable with all the meanings. But if you have a solid foundation of tarot knowledge and then jump into this, I think it can be really wonderful to work with. I did a really great shadow self spread with this deck around Halloween time, which if I remember, I will link in the cards for you. But yeah, I really like this. And this Baba Studios cardstock is really nice. It feels really good. It's not thick. It shuffles beautifully. It feels very sturdy and it doesn't chip easily. And I've heard that they have a special core that makes them really hold up. So this is good cardstock. The Fairy Tale Tarot by Baba Studio, as I mentioned in part 1 of this series, or this deck collection video thing, that cardstock not awesome. This cardstock definitely is really nice, particularly if you rifle shuffle, which I do. And I love these clamshell boxes. Can we just like have more of these, please? Love, 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 love. Oh yeah, we're at 13 minutes and I've got quite a few more decks to go, so definitely gonna do this again or do this in a part 4. Spirit Song Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. 2-part box, lovely guidebook. This is my animal deck. This is the only animal tarot I have. I don't think of the Brady Tarot as an animal tarot. I think of it as a nature tarot because there's so much more to it. This deck could very easily and does very easily work as either a tarot deck or an oracle deck, and would be perfect if you are bridging yourself over from having worked with tarot to wanting to work, or sorry, having worked with oracle to wanting to work with tarot. Or maybe the other way around if you've never worked with oracle before, because there's just an animal on each card. There's not a ton of like scenic things happening in the cards. It's more just showing an animal, and it's tying the animal's energy to that particular card. And there are also keywords on every card. Oh, come on, focus. Focus. Okay, well, it's not going to focus. Peace and compassion, this one says. Because there's keywords on every card, you can use this for daily draws like you would use an oracle, or you can start to use those keywords and the animal energies to get to know the tarot and what the tarot is all about. So the guidebook is really lovely. The artwork is gorgeous. The only complaint I might have is that I wish these colors were a bit more saturated because they are a bit pale for my preference. I would love them to be a little bolder, kind of like the colors in the Joy de Vivre by Paulina Cassidy, which I don't have but have seen, and it's a little bit more saturated with color. Those are the backs. Love it. I say that after every deck. Love it. I'm so silly. All right, I think I'm gonna call it after this one, and then we'll do part 4 after that so that these videos aren't stupid long. This one is my very lovely Guardian Tarot, and inside here actually is a piece of paper with my 2018 deck of the, or sorry, card reading for the year, because this is the deck I used for that. I also have in there a piece of petrified wood, which I keep with this deck. And I love this bag, holy cow. It's got that metallicness to it, and it totally perfectly matches the colors. Anyway, I've talked about this deck before. This is a special deck for me because I was not drawn to the artwork at all. These are the backs. The thing about these whole beings that have no eyes kind of weirded me out when I saw it on videos and on pictures, but oh boy, you guys. When I got into this deck, and I actually held it in my hands for the first time, I fell in love. And it's not, again, this is another deck I would not recommend if you are a beginner to tarot, because the scenes are not enough to get the meaning from the card, I don't think. But I actually almost read this deck more in an oracle style. I typically will draw the cards and read the guidebook, which I have started to get to know a lot better. I've edged it like that so I can easily find the cards. But the guidebook is written from a very self-love, self-worth perspective. And these are actually tree guardians, like dryad kind of creatures that it's picturing. And this deck makes me feel very safe and loved, and just, it's hard to describe. It just has a really soft, special voice, but it has no problem pointing out what you need to work on. It has no problem holding a mirror up to you, but it does it in this like very kind and loving way. And I adore it for that. And so I don't use this deck for clients at this stage in my practice. I did also edge this in like a periwinkle kind of blue to match. I don't use this deck for clients, but I do really enjoy reading with it for myself, particularly like, as I said, for like my 2019 year ahead spread, things like that. It's been really great. Very special and definitely a must-have for me in my collection. All right, that is it for part 3. Come back again for part 4. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next part. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.